muy malo. Roto el paso de vestuario. La interpretación siempre negativa. Siempre negativa. Nunca positiva.
Hello, welcome to Siempre Positivo. After Barcelona returned to the top of La Liga just 6 days after ceding top spot to Real Madrid, they are back in first place after beating Levante 3-0 on Sunday, 1 day after Real Madrid fell to a 2-1 defeat at El Sadar against Osasuna. I'm Sam Marsden, joined by Rick Sharma. Rick, how are you?
I'm pretty good. Just sitting with you outside a place called Barcelona, apparently, according to my phone, which is recording. It tells you the location where you're at. So we're at Barcelona having a beer and decided to record today as you've got quite a busy day tomorrow.
Yeah, doing a lot of election stuff at the moment. So it's not so much I've got a busy day per se tomorrow, but it's just I've got the interview with Marc Syria tomorrow. We've done one with Xavi Villajoana already, and it's just the timing makes it a bit difficult to coincide with you and Tony. And as soon as Sunday's game finished early, it made sense to record a little bit now. I was happy with my intro in one, even though it was only like 20 seconds. It wasn't a particularly good intro, but mainly just because I've just been recording my ESPN thing, and it took me like 25 takes to record like a 30-second video, just basically saying the same thing, stumbling over the words. But maybe that was good practice.
Practice makes perfect.
Practice for my intro now. It's a shame this was stooped over a table with a beer. I don't think it would have the same hit on Verts on ESPN.
I don't know. I think that people liked James Richardson in the old days having his croissant and his coffee for Football Italia.
Yeah, I should try and find a niche like that. I feel like lots of people have tried to find those sort of ways in the James Richardson, maybe just in the English language market. But yeah, a good day for Barca. I know there's some, obviously, I've followed the conversation on Discord and social media and whatnot, and there was some sort of criticism, probably not the right word, but a little bit like a bit of a dull game. But I think that's probably exactly what the doctor ordered for Barca after that 4-0 loss to Atletico, after losing to Girona, after dropping to second in La Liga, especially once Real Madrid had lost, handed the opportunity to go top today. They just needed to get the job done with minimal fuss, and I would say it was minimal fuss. There were chances for Levante in the first half. It was quite funny, I guess, that Levante had a golden chance inside 30 seconds, given Hansi Flick yesterday had spoken about the team meetings they'd had this week following those back-to-back losses, and the focus being on sort of how many chances they were conceding and how to stop that. Training was delayed by over an hour on Saturday morning because they were having a team meeting where he said they were specifically discussing chances that had been created against them, and then within 25-30 seconds Levante had created a really good chance. But Barca were also creating lots of chances against admittedly a Levante team that look like they're going to be relegated. They're second bottom at the moment. There was one for Koundé. Marc Bernal then scored his second goal for the club not long after his first, just a couple of weeks after he opened his account for the club. Good from João Cancelo, who'd come in for Alejandro Balde from a well-worked corner. Played to Eric Garcia, who crossed for Bernal to score. Barca had other chances to double their lead, eventually doubling the lead again with João Cancelo involved. A good afternoon for João Cancelo, perhaps the sort of game we spoke about him being brought in for these games at home, when he can sort of come in and make the difference in attack without having to focus too much on defence. An excellent assist for Frenkie de Jong to convert the second goal, and the third goal came late in the day. An absolute bullet from Fermin Lopez, which went in off the post. Matt Ryan had no chance, because if he did have a chance, perhaps he would have saved it, because he was actually very good. He made some good saves. That double save he made at the end to keep it 3-0 instead of 4-0 from a Rafinha header and a Fermin Lopez follow-up was one of the best saves I've seen this season. But 3-0 for Barca, 3 points, back to the top of La Liga, and yeah, normal business. Rick, a little bit drab, but I think it's what's needed. I don't think you can criticise them after what's gone before over the last 10 days.
Yeah, I think that you have to say it's obviously a step up from what we've seen in the last 10 days, and I think it is, to be honest, what Flick would have happily signed for if you offered him at the start of the weekend. You said clean sheet, 3-0 win. You know, maybe the only things he would say he would like to be different are some of those chances don't get created. Obviously, that's a big ask, going from one of the sort of most vulnerable defences out there to shutting up shop. And perhaps he might have liked a goal for Lewandowski or Torres on from the bench as they're continuing their struggling start to 2026. But yeah, and maybe Lamine as well. I mean, it's funny because in the press conference there's very little of note from Hansi Flick, and he was asked a couple of times about Lamine's reaction to being taken off, and my reaction to that was, talking to you, was saying that I agree with Flick and that's not really an issue, and yet here I am mentioning it because of kind of the dearth of other other sort of important moments or anything that this game left. And so yeah, maybe Flick would rather that thing didn't happen, where Lamine sort of showed his discontent to be brought off with 5 minutes remaining. I don't know, it's kind of stupid to me. What are you upset about, being taken off with 5 minutes to go?
No,
it's not big. It's not a big issue though.
Like Flick says, that's completely normal. Not really a talking point for us. I think it can be part of a wider talking point if there are other sort of issues with the player. But like Flick says, if a player is happy to be taken off, that's the wrong reaction as well. So yeah, it was a nothing story really, but obviously it's something that's always going to be picked up on. I guess if we want to focus on two big positives for me in terms of the game. One more on the game, one more sort of a detail. The game being Marc Bernal. I mean, we'd obviously spoken about him last week, and I think we said on the Q&A podcast that if he didn't start this game, I don't know if we said we'd be stunned or if it would be like or we basically said he had to start this game, and he did.
C.
Just beyond the goal, just more important minutes for him. It feels like he is now ahead of Casado. I guess if he keeps delivering this and is able to produce in big games towards the end of the season, we'll all say, because I think we all think Flick's held him back a little bit, but we'll all say maybe the management of the situation has been good. Flick speaking afterwards, well, whenever Flick speaks about him, he always puts the emphasis on the future. I don't know if you notice, very sort of takes away from the present. This
player
is a player
for the future. Yeah.
Not for the present and the future. But yeah, valuable minutes for Marc Bernal, although they come just as the other good news happened, which was Pedri coming back from injury for the final 30 minutes.
Yeah, but hopefully that means Flick can use Pedri a little bit more conservatively in the weeks ahead, not overplaying him, not having to necessarily line him up for and play him for 90 minutes against Villarreal next weekend. I think that Bernal's game was definitely, apart from the goal. You don't have to include the goal in it in the sort of discussion of his game, because it's not really what he's there for, though. Obviously he's not sort of showing he's not a bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's not always
getting into the box and
like
finding the
I
net.
didn't want to mention his goal too much, because that's not why he had a good game. But if he is someone who can come into the team and add goals as well, that's another level or another sort of asset for Barca, isn't it? Yeah,
it's something that Busquets wasn't particularly capable of doing, whereas Bernal seems like he is capable of it, which is a good sign. But yeah, overall his performance was good, positioning was good. Barca looked sort of more recognisable again than they had in some of the previous games when they've been lining up with Frenkie, Olmo and Fermin and a sort of midfield trio that everybody knows is not going to work. There's no way that it can really work. They need a Bernal or a Pedri in there. So now they've got both of them back, and hopefully that's a sign for Barca to keep improving in the weeks to come. Yeah.
Another comment on the Discord. I think we spoke about. I don't know too much about the Q&A, but obviously with Bernal potentially becoming a starter at some point, maybe it won't be this season. Maybe Flick won't turn to that before the end of the season. But the idea of a Bernal, I think we suggested it would be a Bernal or De Jong with Pedri kind of situation. What about a Bernal, De Jong, Pedri midfield three? Which for me, you got Fermin and Olmo as well. Whether you would want them as at the tip, I don't.
Well, this actually is. I mean, it's maybe not quite in the same way I suggested it, which was playing Pedri at 10. But it is basically what I was suggesting earlier in the season.
No, you said earlier in the season. That's why because about Pedri playing as the 10.
Yeah. Well, in this case, it might not be a 10. Though. It might be a sort of a more typical 4-3-3 that we've seen Barca play for.
Twin 8 with Frenkie or Bernal.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe Pedri ends up in more attacking areas. Maybe Frenkie runs there but doesn't stay up there.
I think it would have to be the twin 8s, yeah, because you want Pedri to also be able to come deeper and control the games at times when he needs to. If he can sort of read the game and play that role, it could be a good situation for Barca because.
But then, yeah, I agree with that right now. But if it does turn out that in like a year's time, Bernal is fantastic and he's playing brilliantly, and Pedri doesn't need to spend as much time down there and can spend more time developing in attack and contributing to creating chances, then all the better.
Yeah. I was going to say it's not really a question for now, but it could be something sooner than we realise if Bernal does break into the team over the next month, because Flick's obviously going to pick players based on form, and I don't think any of us are completely. I don't think any of me, you or Tony would put ourselves on the line and say Fermin or Olmo have to start in this Barca team as the 10.
Definitely not, yeah. Both of them have shown some quality at times. Neither of them have been consistent. I think they're both better as substitutes than as starters, and I kind of demonstrated that today with not a great performance from Olmo, and then Fermin comes on and has that energy against a sort of tiring Levante and then smashes in from 30 yards, brilliant goal. That's exactly where they're both better coming into games.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that midfield sort of develops. A, over the final third of the season, if all those players stay fit, and B, sort of over the summer into next season, what sort of Barca are looking to do in in midfield, because recently I'm still not convinced whether they need. I think I'm starting to think maybe they do need another deep line midfielder, but if Pedri stays fit, if De Jong, Bernal, they do potentially have good options. Obviously Gavi to throw into the mix as well. He's back in group training now, so at some point he's going to be, not in terms of starting this season I don't think, but in terms of minutes off the bench or competition for Olmo or Firmino or whoever it is. And the third positive, which is also sort of like a debate generator as well, because I don't think it can be denied, but the performance of João Cancelo was good.
Yeah, very good.
Which is positive, because we've not seen a good performance so far. So
it's true, yeah.
So I think, because I think there's been some sort of, well, of course he's going to be good at home against Levante. Well, away against Albacete, he was rubbish and hauled off at half time because he was a walking red card and hadn't played well as the right back. Today we saw him as the left back, yes, in a home game which Barca dominated, but you still have to play well. It doesn't mean he's good. It doesn't mean.
Well, this is what I was hoping, that he would, by around now, become sort of a decent option.
I think this is what we kind of. I guess if you're thinking when they signed him, I don't know what this option would be, because it's never going to happen. But like in the best top scenario, he's like either right back or left back, absolutely amazing, attacking and defending somehow, which was never going to happen. So I think when we thought of realistic scenarios, the best case scenario was this, that he would play this role in these home games to be able to rest Koundé or rest Balde or
yeah. Something that I thought about today and wrote in the Discord, which is a bit disappointing, is that this season, obviously Balde's been okay and Koundé's been largely quite bad, but the problem with Cancelo is that, and as other people are pointing out, he's mainly playing at left back when he's been given minutes, is that you would end up with Cancelo and Lamine on the right, which is not, even if Lamine is not like atrocious at defending, between them that is a big problem if you've got both of them on the same side. Whereas Rafinha today and Cancelo, a couple of times, Cancelo didn't have too much trouble defensively, but a couple of times Rafinha was deeper than him, getting back, getting involved, stopping Levante from getting in on that flank, and it worked really nicely. And Cancelo was able to have a big impact in attack. And actually, I don't mean this as disrespect to Rafinha, because he's been brilliant for Barca, but I'd much rather it was Cancelo delivering a ball from the left than Rafinha delivering, in terms of, he's not got a bad tally of assists by any means, Rafinha, but Cancelo, really, really good crossing, very precise passing, had a couple of good moments where the weight of his passing was lovely today, Cancelo. And in fact, the goal that Frankie scored 5-10 minutes earlier, Cancelo made the exact same cross, brilliant cross. Lewandowski didn't get close to it and it hit the post.
No, technically he is. Technically, Cancelo is a fantastic player. I was thinking this on Monday. I was watching him, and obviously he didn't come on against Girona, did he? But in the warm-up before the game, I think he was with Bruni Badaji, but they were just doing sort of touch and volley to each other, keeping the ball off the ground, and just like, he didn't make a single mistake. And I know you'll say like loads of professionals do that when it's the warm-up and they're off the. But obviously I've watched a lot of warm-ups, and like you can tell when like someone is like on another level to like the rest of the players. Or so, just in terms of like the players that he was warming up with, and like he was doing it with Lewandowski as well afterwards. And Lewandowski was obviously, I don't want to say awful, but he doesn't have the technique or the finesse to do touch and volleys in the air without the ball hitting the ground that Cancelo does.
Cancelo, very, very talented, very good attacking player, but and that doesn't mean he gets off the hook for his obvious deficiencies defensively. And that's what we were complaining about. I think people are not exaggerating like massively, but I think some people are ignoring the positive of what he can bring. It's not just negative, it's not just downside with Cancelo.
Yeah, so good. They were probably the main positives. The Bernal performance for me, the return of Pedri. Rashford was also back, but on the bench he didn't get on. The performance of Cancelo, because like I say, even though people might downplay the situation and the fact it was in theory easy game against Levante, it was the first time we've seen him deliver that performance. So if he is ready to do that, it's going to be a massive asset, whether it's in La Liga or whether it's in the final stages. It'll give him confidence going into the Champions League knockout stages if he's set up a couple of goals now, or set up one directly, played a part in the other.
And I have visions of Cancelo being useful in Champions League in I don't know, quarter-final, second leg, Barca trailing by 1, Flick sends on Cancelo and he causes chaos. In fact, there was another cross he had in the first half that was a sort of across the face of goal, and then two players Lewandowski nearly got at the back post, and it's the kind of just a very dangerous delivery that defences find almost impossible to defend against.
Yeah, it's funny, he said that when he first signed for Barca, I remember at his presentation he said that, I don't know if it's fair to say dream, or what he wanted to do was to end, I apologise, I can't remember what his hometown club is, but he wanted to end his career there as a number 10. I think it's like a team that plays in maybe like the Portugal's second division, maybe the first division. I can't remember now. I apologise. And I was thinking today when he was playing, and obviously people are saying like how good he is going forward, etc. how many La Liga teams would Cancelo start for just as a winger?
Just as a winger, probably 90% of them.
Would you say all of them outside
Madrid and Atletico? Villarreal have some good attacking players. I can't think off the top of my head like who he'd come in for.
He'd be in the rotation set up there.
Yeah, he'd definitely be useful, that's for sure.
As a winger at all those clubs. Well, it's funny because he spent his whole career as a fullback and everyone's saying how good he is as a centre. I guess his role, what was his role at City? He played that sort of stepping inside and stuff as well. That City team was complete sort of chaos at one point, wasn't it?
He was brilliant in that City team. Yes, he has his flaws, and we're saying that. But I mean, even yesterday, for example, I mean, you said it tongue in cheek to me. Like Osasuna's attack is a great attack with Victor Munoz, super rapid, Budimir, great target man, and then didn't start yesterday. Raul Moro,
well, because they've only just signed him, yeah.
Yeah, but like I was thinking, so I mean, there is a good attack, and Cancelo would be in it. He'd be involved.
Yeah. So they were the main positives. I don't know if you have any other positives from the game. What you thought of Barca's performance?
No, I don't think so. To be honest, I mean, I was thinking about the ratings, and I mean, Cancelo head and shoulder above, and Bernal maybe is up there too. Those two we've talked about them already. I think that's about it.
Yeah, so the performance was fine. It was what the doctor ordered, as I've said 2 or 3 times now. Sorry to keep repeating myself. I guess the negatives, and I know it's the antithesis of the pod, but probably Flick said it was a response. It's hard to know how much of a response it was. Like it didn't feel like this was a Barca team that came out. Like I expected them to go to Girona and win after that Atletico thing. So then I definitely thought they were going to come out today and win. I put in the Discord, I said maybe 5-0,
yeah.
and it ended 3-0.
It didn't feel like Barca were coming to prove a point in this game.
No, it didn't feel like they were completely. Not that they weren't at the races, but it didn't feel like they were going out, like you say, to really step up and deliver a response. Like I say, Levante had that chance. They had another chance after 1-0. Was it the second chance that they had?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, they created less in the second half, it's true, but I just thought, in terms of big chances that they gave away, they did give away some. It certainly wouldn't, yeah.
Well, I did think of one more positive, the fact that Pedri is back. They came on, played half an hour, which is a bit longer than I thought he'd play.
I've already said the Pedri one.
All right, yeah, Kenya's getting to me.
Pedri was part of the main thing with Bernal. The other, I wouldn't say it was a negative, but just a continued concern now, because it's like I feel like it's a real pattern now. It's just like Lewandowski is just, and I know we've spoken about him even when he's been having goal scoring form and stuff, about him being declining or not what he was or whatnot. But I feel like it's clear now. If you think his first season, obviously started brilliantly, second half not so good. Second season was still scoring, but we were questioning other aspects of his game. Third season sort of reinvigorated with the flick and Rafinha and Lamine Yamal, but yeah, it's hard to get behind him this season.
He's washed, yeah.
And it's not that he's doing anything specifically bad. You can just see it's just time. Like there was one time in the second half, and I'm not saying it's a chance that he should score. It's a really, really difficult moment. He gets the ball just outside the box. He comes in, and just the shot was just tame and just like. It's not that he should score that, it's just that you associate his standards have been so high throughout his career that he does those things and scores them.
There's a goal he scored against Mallorca a couple of seasons ago, maybe it was even his first season, but it reminded me of that sort of position where he got the ball on the edge of the box and then
I mean there was one he was really angry about today in the first half when I think it was across from, I don't know if it's from Lamine or Koundé, it was from the right, and Rafinha's headed it and he's waiting behind him and he was furious. I don't know if
I think he would have scored that one. Yeah, it's unfortunate because I mean Rafinha's entitled to go for it, but Lewandowski was better positioned to get it, and he's probably more furious than he might have been otherwise because he understands his state as well, I think, and he's like that's the chance that I might have been able to score. I might not be able to score the other ones that are coming my way at the moment.
Yeah, I guess the good thing is the goals came from midfielders, no goals from the forwards. But like you say, I think I don't have the stats. I think you pointed out on the last podcast, Varane has got 3 goals in his last 14. He came on today, so 3 goals in his last 15. Yeah. Lewandowski's stats, I'm not sure what they are, but
they're better, but not much better. I think he scored 5 in a similar amount of games.
So neither number 9 is scoring regularly without just making a general 9 comment, without sort of transgressing into.
Well, today I feel very entitled to have a go at Varane. No argument to be had with no Tony, but I won't. Other than that, he wasn't very good when he came on, and I was sitting next to, I won't say who it was, a Catalan journalist, and they were laying into Varane. I was talking to them, and they also didn't like Varane. And
they didn't want to go on record.
They didn't. I said to him, I should record this and put it on the pod because do you know what it sounds like? It sounds like when Tony's got a problem with his Wi-Fi or his computer. That's the sort of level of swearing at Varane when he came on. And we were talking about the situation in general, and he agrees that neither Lewandowski nor Varane is suitable to be a starting striker at Barcelona. So the one thing he said to me which is positive, or was positive about Varane, not in terms of football, but is in the sense of he apparently is very close with Pedri. They're very close.
Well, at half time
friends.
they were warming up together. I know coming on together is circumstantial, but they got the same representation.
Same, yeah, exactly, yeah, same. And he was like, well, one of the benefits of having Varane around is that a bit like
Balde with Lamine.
Yeah, well, yeah, or Pinto with Messi back in the day, the old goalkeeper. So yeah, it's nice for harmony to have Varane around, apparently, but maybe not nice in terms of football. He also said that the reason there are some very strong pro Varane views out there, while everyone's seeing the evidence they're seeing, is that his camp are hot on controlling social media and trying to get involved in that sort of thing and making people respect Varane.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, today's not about Varane. He came on, and you would criticise things that he did when he came on today. I've not seen that. I've not seen that one back yet. I saw some. There was obviously a ball over the top, and it's quite a difficult one, the leaping header.
Yeah, no, you don't expect him to score. It's a difficult chance, but more or less every ball that went his way, he couldn't get on the end of, couldn't get involved in, didn't do anything with it. No, it wasn't say it was like egregiously awful, but he was just Varane. Varane was Varane.
No, it's something we've spoken about quite a lot. And people often ask about it on the Q&A as well when we do Q&As on Patreon. And it's something which has a logical explanation in that Marcus Rashford has always made it clear he wants to play on the left. He sees himself playing on the left. I do think it's true he's better off the left, in the same way Mbappe was with the number 9 if he can come inside and stuff.
There's your example. If you ever Flick wanted to convince him about something, he said, look at Kylian Mbappe, best player in the world, comes to Real Madrid as a player who only sort of plays off the left, doesn't play as a central striker. Within a few months, he's now maybe the best central striker in the world. Yeah. Him and Haaland.
I just think, I think if I was Rashford and if I was Flick, if I was Rashford, I'd think, where am I getting most minutes in this team? It's as a centre forward. Rafinha's a starter, C or C. Lamine's a starter. Yes, there's a possibility that Rafinha comes in as a 10 and you play on the left. Your best chance of playing every week in this Barca team in the final stage of the season is as a number 9. And if I was Flick, I'd be thinking, Lewandowski's not delivering, Varane's form has dipped. Why not try Marcus? He's played there a few times. I thought, was it the 6-0 against, who was it was it Olympiacos? He played there, did okay.
The piece of evidence that I think goes against Rashford in this is he hasn't been particularly clinical, like during any time in his Barca career, but when he's playing as 9 neither. Like maybe if he had been a bit more effective in putting away some of the chances he's had, I think Flick might have been more inclined to give him that central striker slot. Yeah. But he hasn't. I mean, he's been good for Barca, but he hasn't been effective in front of goal.
Yeah. I mean, I don't disagree with the basic data that Rashford is better from the left, that Flick prefers him from the left, etc., etc., etc. I just think it's at the point where you look at the squad and you think, would you give him a couple of games there and try and see how it goes at this stage of the season? It's almost a problem now that they've got such big gap between games. I was thinking today when you saw all the subs warming up on the bench today, they had Rashford, they had Firmino, they had Casado, they had Pedri, they had Varane. Who else came on? Rooney and stuff.
No, but listen, I think Flick's right. As long as things go well for Barca, they're playing after this Villarreal game every 3 to 4 days for the rest of the season. Yeah. It's okay to have 1 or 2 weeks where, and then you get people hungry. You get Ferran hungry, you get Olmo hungry, Firmino hungry, not starting these games. Rashford as well. I think that it's okay to have this little 2 week period. They can do their training, work on some stuff, get people fit and firing and ready to go.
All right, then let's hear Rick's ratings from Barcelona 3, Levante 0.
I'm gonna bring up the team. I'm gonna give Joan Garcia, Koundé, Eric Garcia, Gerard Martin more or less 6 across the board. Koundé's game was a little bit different to perhaps in some games where he wasn't as exposed, although the first chance did come in down that side. But he have a good cross, Koundé, for I can't remember who it was now. Eric Garcia, who headed it just wide early in the second half.
Garcia set up the first goal as well.
And Garcia set up the first goal, but yeah, Cancelo did the hard work on that first goal.
Martin with the yellow card for the last man challenge on Ivan Romero at the end of the first half.
Yeah,
I think Martin's got a ban now. I think he's banned against Villarreal.
Is he? Okay. Well, I mean, for me, it all kind of similar. Like nothing special from any of them. Neither for good nor bad. Joao Cancelo 8.5. Thought he was Barca's best player. Marc Bernal 8. Very good performance. Frenkie 7.5. Took his goal reasonably well. Dani Olmo 6, not the best game from Dani Olmo. Neither for Lamine 6.
Lamine got an assist.
He did get an assist. It wasn't a good assist. It was just was it a short corner?
Quick corner to Firmino.
Yeah, for Firmino's golazo. Rafinha also 6. Not a special game from Rafinha. Lewandowski 4.5. Very little he contributed to today's game. Off the bench, I mean, I know Pedri came on for half an hour, but I'm not inclined to give him a rating. I'll give Firmino a 7 with his golazo. Great strike. Maybe 7.5. Good energy as well. Ferran. Just if Tony was here, I might not even give him a rating to not provoke an argument, but I'm going to give him a 5 out of 10.
Araujo and Rooney, but Adeji obviously just coming on for the last few minutes. Yeah, no need for a rating. Right, that's all we've got time for today. We'll be back with Tony later this week for an episode looking a little bit ahead to the elections. Also, we'll maybe have a look at past elections, how the election format works, and take the questions we've got left over from last week on Patreon and Discord. In the meantime, stay positive.